For more than 200 years, the galaxy lived in fear of war. Great empires fought endless battles among the stars. Entire planets were destroyed. Trade routes were attacked every day. Huge fleets clashed in deep space again and again. No one trusted anyone. Every species believed that war would never end. Then humanity appeared. Humans were new to the galaxy. Their ships were not the biggest. Their weapons were not the most powerful. Their empire was small compared to the ancient alien civilizations. Many leaders in the galaxy thought humans were weak. But humans had something unusual. They believed peace was still possible. Instead of building only warships, humans sent messages across the galaxy. They asked the other empires for meetings and cooperation. At first, most alien governments ignored them. But slowly, something surprising happened. Human traders helped poor colonies. Human engineers repaired damaged stations. Human diplomats solved small conflicts between alien species. Over time, people started to notice something. Humans were trying to unite the galaxy. Finally, the Galactic Council decided to do something bold. They announced the Great Peace Summit. Every major empire would send representatives. Generals, leaders, and diplomats from hundreds of species would gather at one neutral station. The station was called Aurora Prime. It floated in deep space, far away from any empire's territory. The station was protected by strict neutral laws. No weapons were allowed inside the main council chamber. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had a real chance to end its wars. When the day arrived, Aurora Prime became the most important place in the galaxy. Huge alien ships arrived from every direction. Massive war cruisers, elegant diplomatic vessels, ancient flagships that had survived dozens of wars. Inside the station, thousands of delegates gathered. Tall reptilian commanders, insect-like strategists, cold and logical machine ambassadors. They all came to witness history. But many of them had doubts. Peace had failed many times before. Why would this time be different? Then the human ship arrived. Compared to the other ships, it looked almost simple. It was a medium-sized diplomatic vessel called Horizon Light. No massive cannons, no heavy armor, just a calm white hull and a small blue human flag. Many alien officers watching from the station windows laughed quietly. "Is that really their diplomatic ship?" one officer said. "It looks like a transport vessel," another replied. But the humans did not seem embarrassed. When the ship docked, one person stepped out. Commander Elias Ward. He was tall, calm, and wore a simple black diplomatic uniform. No armor, no weapon, no guards. Only a small communication device on his wrist. Security drone scanned him before he entered the council hall. No weapons detected. Completely unarmed. Inside the chamber, hundreds of alien leaders were already seated around a giant circular table. The room was enormous. Holographic stars floated above the delegates, showing maps of the galaxy. Commander Ward walked slowly toward the center. Every eye followed him, some curious, some amused, some suspicious. Finally, he reached the speaking platform. For a few seconds, the room was completely silent. Then one alien warlord spoke loudly. He was from the Varkesh Dominion, one of the most aggressive empires in the galaxy. His tall, armored body leaned forward. "So this is humanity?" the warlord said with a rough voice. "You bring only one man to a meeting of empires?" A few alien delegates laughed, but Commander Ward did not react. He simply looked around the chamber. Then he began to speak. "Humanity thanks the Galactic Council for this opportunity." His voice was calm and steady. "We know the galaxy has suffered from war for a very long time." A few delegates nodded slowly. Ward continued. "Humans are not the strongest species here. We know that. We are not the oldest civilization either." The chamber remained quiet. "But sometimes," Ward said, "being new means seeing things differently." He tapped a small control on the platform. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed hundreds of destroyed planets, broken fleets, burning cities across the galaxy, images from centuries of war. Many alien leaders looked uncomfortable. "We studied your history," Ward said softly. "Every empire here has won battles, but none of you have won peace." The words hung in the air. Some delegates shifted in their seats. The Varkesh warlord crossed his arms. "And what makes humans so special?" he asked. Ward answered calmly. "Nothing." That answer surprised many of them. "We are not special," Ward continued, "but we are tired of watching history repeat itself." The hologram changed. Now it showed something different. Trade routes connecting planets, shared research stations, joint defense fleets, species working together. A united galaxy would be stronger than any single empire, Ward said. Instead of destroying each other, we could build something greater. Some delegates whispered to each other. For the first time, the idea sounded possible. Ward continued speaking for several minutes. He explained human proposals for cooperation, shared technology, open trade routes, mutual defense agreements. Finally, he showed the last message on the hologram, a universal peace treaty. Silence filled the chamber. The Galactic Council leaders looked at each other. No one expected humans to present something this bold. The Varkesh warlord leaned forward again. "And you truly believe peace is possible?" he asked. Ward looked directly at him. "Yes." The warlord studied him for a long moment. Then he laughed. But this time, fewer people joined him, because something strange was happening. Many delegates were actually thinking about the proposal. After hours of discussion, arguments, and debates, the council made a decision. They would sign the treaty, the first galactic peace accord. For the first time in 200 years, the galaxy officially declared peace. The chamber erupted in noise. Some leaders celebrated, others looked uncertain. But history had been made. Commander Ward simply smiled quietly. Later, as the meeting ended, delegates began leaving the station. News drones broadcast the event across the galaxy. Every civilization heard the announcement. The wars were over. Peace had finally begun. Commander Ward walked alone through one of Aurora Prime's long corridors. Large windows showed the stars outside. His ship, Horizon Light, waited in the docking bay. He looked calm, but far away, hidden in a dark observation room. Someone was watching him. A Varkesh officer lowered a rifle slowly. The officer spoke quietly into a communicator. "The human is leaving the council hall." A voice answered, "Execute the plan." The officer stepped into the corridor shadows. Commander Ward never saw him. He continued walking toward the docking area. Just a few more steps. Just a few more meters. Then, a single gunshot echoed through the corridor. Commander Ward froze. Then he collapsed forward onto the cold metal floor. The attacker disappeared instantly. Security alarms began screaming across the station. Emergency drones rushed into the corridor. Delegates nearby started shouting in confusion. Within minutes, the entire station was in chaos. Medical teams reached Ward's body, but it was too late. The human commander was dead, shot in the back, and everything had been recorded by station cameras. The news spread across the galaxy in less than 10 minutes. Humanity's peace ambassador had been assassinated. The treaty that was supposed to end centuries of war had lasted only 6 minutes. Many alien leaders were shocked. Some were afraid, but very few people noticed something strange. As Commander Ward's body lay on the floor, the small communication device on his wrist blinked once. Then it quietly sent a hidden signal. A signal traveling faster than light, straight toward human space. Far away, deep inside a classified human command station, a console lit up. A single message appeared on the screen. Peace failed. For a moment, the room was silent. Then the human officer standing there slowly nodded. "So," he said quietly, "they finally did it." Behind him, enormous holographic maps of hidden fleets appeared across the room. Dozens of secret shipyards activated. Thousands of warships powered up. Humanity had come to the summit, hoping for peace. But they had also prepared for something else, just in case the galaxy made a terrible mistake. And now, it had. The news of the assassination spread across the galaxy faster than any ship. Every station, every colony, every fleet command center. They all saw the same recording. Commander Elias Ward walking through the quiet corridor of Aurora Prime. A moment of silence. Then the gunshot. Ward falling forward onto the cold metal floor. The camera drones captured everything. Within minutes, the entire galaxy knew what happened. The peace treaty that was meant to stop centuries of war had lasted only 6 minutes. Across the stars, reactions were very different. Some alien governments were shocked. Some were angry. Some were afraid. But inside the Varkesh Dominion, there was celebration. On the dark war world of Kareth, the Dominion's ruling council gathered inside a massive fortress. The Varkesh were tall, armored beings with sharp features and glowing red eyes. They believed strength was the only law in the galaxy. To them, peace was weakness. And humans had just proven how naive they were. The Dominion Supreme Commander stood in front of a giant holographic display, showing the assassination footage. He watched the moment again. The shot, the fall, the chaos. Then he smiled slowly. "A single human diplomat," he said, "and the entire galaxy thinks this is a tragedy." Several Varkesh officers laughed. One human believed he could unite the galaxy. Another officer said he believed our empire would accept peace. The Supreme Commander turned toward the council. Humans are new. They are hopeful. That makes them predictable. One officer asked carefully, "What about the other empires?" Some of them supported the treaty. The Supreme Commander waved his claw dismissively. "They will argue for months. They will blame each other. They always do." He pointed at the holographic image of the dead human commander. "Meanwhile, humanity will learn an important lesson. Trusting the galaxy was their biggest mistake." The Varkesh leaders laughed again. To them, the situation was simple. A weak species had tried to change the galaxy. Now that species would disappear quietly. But far away, in human space, something very different was happening. Deep beneath the surface of a cold human world, inside a heavily protected command center, the hidden signal from War's device had arrived. The room was silent, except for the soft hum of machines. Rows of human officers watched their screens carefully. The message blinked on the central display. Peace failed. Everyone in the room understood what it meant. The officer standing in the center was Admiral Cassandra Vale, commander of the Hidden Human Strategic Fleet. She stared at the message for several seconds. No one spoke. Finally, she nodded slowly. "So," she said quietly, "they chose war." A young officer beside her looked uneasy. "Admiral, are we certain? Maybe the attack was just one extremist." Vale shook her head. "No." She tapped a command on the console. Instantly, dozens of secret reports appeared across the screens. Hidden surveillance from Aurora Prime, intercepted communications, strategic predictions. All of them pointed to the same conclusion. The assassination had been planned. The Varkesh Dominion wanted the treaty to fail. Admiral Vale folded her arms. Commander Ward knew this might happen. One officer looked surprised. "You mean he expected to die?" Vale nodded slowly. He volunteered for the mission because he knew the risk. The room became even quieter. Ward had gone to Aurora Prime, hoping the galaxy might choose peace. But if the galaxy refused, he had one final job: trigger the signal. Vale looked at the officers around her. "Begin Protocol Sentinel." Immediately, the command center exploded with activity. Officers moved quickly between stations. Encrypted orders were sent across human space. Hidden facilities woke from decades of silence, because the truth was something the galaxy never knew. Humanity had prepared for this moment a very long time ago. Years earlier, when humans first entered the galactic community, their leaders had studied alien history carefully. They saw the same pattern repeated again and again. Empires betrayed each other. Peace agreements collapsed. War returned. Human strategists realized something important. If humanity wanted peace, they had to be ready for the day peace failed. So they built something in secret. A network of hidden shipyards, remote asteroid factories, deep space military stations, all designed to remain invisible. And for years, they quietly built ships, not diplomatic vessels, not exploration craft, warships, thousands of them. Back in the command center, the giant holographic map of human space changed. Small icons began lighting up across the display. Each one represented a hidden fleet base point one by one. The lights turned green, shipyards powering up, weapon systems activating, navigation arrays preparing for launch. An operations officer looked at the numbers. Fleet activation confirmed, he said. Another officer added, 72 hidden shipyards online. A third officer looked stunned. Admiral, we have over 3,000 warships ready for deployment. Vale nodded calmly. These fleets have been waiting for years. She looked again at the message on the screen. Peace failed. Then she gave the next order. Send the confirmation signal. An officer pressed a control. Across human space, a new message traveled instantly through military communication networks. It contained only 3 words. Execute defense plan. Far away in deep space, hidden among dark asteroid belts, enormous structures came to life. Massive doors slowly opened. Inside them waited rows of silent human warships. Destroyers, cruisers, carriers, ships larger than anything humanity had ever shown the galaxy. Blue engine lights flickered on across the darkness. Slowly, one fleet after another began moving. No announcements, no warnings, just quiet preparation. Back Aurora Prime, chaos still filled the station. Security forces searched every corridor. Alien diplomats argued loudly with each other. Some blamed the Varkesh. Others blamed human arrogance. Everyone had a different story. But none of them noticed something important. Human ships were leaving the station. Quietly, peacefully. Every human vessel present at the summit was already departing. Their captains had received the signal. They knew what was coming. One human pilot looked at the stars outside his cockpit window. Commander Ward did his part, he said quietly. His co-pilot nodded. Now it's our turn. Meanwhile, inside the Varkesh Dominion, their leaders believed the situation was already finished. They expected angry speeches, political arguments, maybe small border conflicts. Nothing more. They believed humanity was too weak to respond. But 3 days later, the first strange reports arrived. Long-range sensors near the outer edge of Varkesh territory detected unusual energy signatures. At first, analysts thought it was a technical error. The signals were too large, too organized, too many. One officer stared at the readings in confusion. This can't be correct. His commander frowned. What is it? The officer pointed at the display. Multiple fleets detected. How many ships? The officer hesitated. I'm not sure. Estimate. He swallowed. Possibly 200. The commander stared at him. From which empire? The officer zoomed in on the sensor data. Then his eyes widened. The signatures match human technology. Silence filled the control room. That's impossible, the commander said. Humans don't have fleets that large. The officer looked back at the growing signals on the screen. More ships were appearing every minute. 200, then 300, then even more, and they were moving directly toward Varkesh space. Back in the Human Command Center, Admiral Vale watched the same information appear on her own tactical map. Dozens of fleets were now in motion, each one following carefully planned routes, each one targeting key Dominion military systems. She spoke quietly to her officers. Remember our objective. Disable their military. Protect civilian populations. One officer nodded. We're not invading their worlds? Vale shook her head. No. Humanity offered peace first. She looked at the stars on the holographic map. But if someone shoots a human in the back, her voice became colder. They must learn what happens next. Far away, in the dark void between stars, thousands of human warships continued moving forward, engines glowing, weapon systems charging, silent and unstoppable. The galaxy believed they had killed a single diplomat. They thought they had ended humanity's dream of peace. But they had actually done something far more dangerous. They had awakened the force humanity kept hidden. And now that force was moving, slowly, quietly, directly toward the empire that pulled the trigger. The Varkesh Dominion still believed they had won. But very soon, they were about to understand their greatest mistake. For 3 long weeks after Commander Ward's assassination, the galaxy waited. The Varkesh Dominion celebrated. Their warlords and admirals boasted across the council chambers. The humans are weak, they said. One diplomat dead, and the rest will bow in fear. But in the cold darkness of deep space, humanity prepared quietly. Hidden fleets, built over decades in secret shipyards, began to move. Not all at once, but in waves. Ships of every size and shape emerged from asteroid belts, uncharted systems, and cloak stations. From the smallest destroyer to the largest dreadnought, each vessel carried one goal: defend humanity and punish betrayal. Admiral Cassandra Vale stood on the bridge of the command flagship, Sentinel's Dawn, watching the holographic star map. Sensor readings confirmed fleet positions. Her operations officer reported, "They've detected our movements, but they think it's a routine patrol." Vale's lips curled into a small smile. Let them think what they want. The first strike fleet moved silently toward the Dominion's outer systems. It wasn't a reckless attack. Every ship, every fighter, every missile was calculated. Humans were patient. Humans were precise. The Varkesh Dominion noticed the first anomaly 3 days later. "Commander!" one officer shouted. "Multiple unknown signals are appearing near our border. Estimate fleet size," the commander demanded. "Hundreds, possibly over 500 ships." The officer stammered. The commander froze. "Impossible. Humans don't have fleets this large. They only just signed a peace treaty." But they were wrong. Humanity had built hundreds of fleets in secret, distributed across thousands of hidden locations. And now, all of them were moving. The first contact was quiet. Not a single civilian world was touched. Not a single colony was bombed. Human fighters scanned the Dominion's patrols and disabled them without firing destructively. Every engagement targeted only military installations. When the Dominion tried to retaliate, they discovered something terrifying. Human ships were faster, smarter, and stronger than anything they had ever faced. A Dominion admiral shouted in disbelief. "Our missiles, they're deflecting them. Our weapons, they are useless." "Yes," another officer whispered. "They planned this. They knew exactly how to defeat us before we even attacked." Meanwhile, back in human space, Admiral Vale observed each operation through live sensor feeds. "Focus on system command hubs first," she ordered. "Do not destroy civilians. Make sure they feel the consequence, not the people." Humanity was showing the galaxy a lesson it had never seen before. Peaceful, but deadly if crossed. Across Dominion space, panic spread. Communications lines jammed. Ships turned on one another in confusion. Fleet commanders argued over orders. Nothing worked. Every move the Varkesh Dominion tried was anticipated, countered, and neutralized. 3 weeks into the campaign, humans reached the outermost Dominion stronghold. The Dominion Supreme Commander stood on the observation deck of his flagship, a massive war fortress, glaring at the approaching human fleets. "They are enormous," he muttered. "They were hiding this all along." An aide said, "We underestimated them. They are not just capable of war, they are unstoppable." The Supreme Commander's face darkened. "Prepare the fleet. Full counterstrike." But it was already too late. The human fleet attacked with precision. Missile volleys were intercepted. Boarding ships neutralized key warships. Dominion soldiers were caught off guard at every turn. The Supreme Commander watched helplessly as one Dominion flagship after another fell. "Pull back! Retreat!" he shouted. But the human fleet was already in control. Systems were locked down. Command centers disabled. Their greatest ships destroyed before they could escape. The Dominion had thought humanity would strike wildly. But humans were methodical, controlled, and ruthless in their strategy. And they were just getting started. Within hours, Dominion communication networks were filled with a single message: "You fired first. Humanity will finish it." Even more shocking, human fleets made no move against civilian worlds. Entire planets remained untouched. Hospitals, schools, marketplaces, all safe. Only military power was targeted. The Varkesh officers panicked. "Why aren't they destroying our colonies?" one cried. "Because they are smarter than us," another whispered. "They are teaching us a lesson without killing innocents." On the human side, officers aboard Sentinel's Dawn monitored the campaign. All targets confirmed neutralized, Vale reported. No civilian casualties. Minimal human losses. Prepare the next phase. In just 48 hours, the Dominion's outer systems collapsed. Their fleets scattered. Their generals fled in fear. Panic spread throughout every Dominion control planet. The galaxy began to notice. Every species, every empire, every independent colony watched the news feeds in disbelief. Humans have been betrayed. Yet they acted with restraint and precision. They had shown mercy and strength. For the first time, aliens understood a terrifying truth. Humans had destroyed everything, yet they chose not to. They were not weak. They were patient. They were human. The campaign continued system by system. Every Dominion military base fell. Every fleet was disabled, and every weapon depot captured. Finally, 3 weeks after the first human fleet entered Dominion space, the Supreme Commander realized the truth. "This cannot be stopped," he muttered. "Humanity is unlike any species we have ever faced." Back on Sentinel's Dawn, Admiral Vale looked at the battle map. The Dominion was broken. Entire fleets had surrendered. Critical military systems were under human control. "Message to their leadership," she ordered. A communications officer sent the transmission. Seconds later, it echoed across Dominion space. "Surrender. Humanity prefers peace. Betrayal has consequences." Within hours, the Dominion surrendered. Their ships laid down arms. Their leaders begged for mercy. Vale walked across the bridge, calm as always. "Remember," she said, "humanity did not destroy their world. We only destroyed their ability to hurt others." A young officer looked puzzled. "Admiral, why not destroy them completely?" Vale shook her head. "Because peace must be stronger than fear. If we destroy everything, what lesson do they learn? Only that we are cruel. We must be strong and just. That is how humans win respect." For the first time in decades, the galaxy saw a species that combined strength, intelligence, and morality in a way no one had imagined possible. Even the other alien empires, who had stayed neutral, whispered in fear. "The humans are not weak," one ambassador said. "They wanted peace, but if attacked, they are unstoppable." And far away, in a hidden command room, the hologram of Commander Ward lit up. He had predicted this moment. The galaxy had betrayed humanity. Humanity had shown patience. Humanity had won. The first phase was over. The Varkesh Dominion was broken. But humanity had one more lesson to teach the galaxy. One final truth: never shoot a human in the back. The stars were quiet, yet everyone watching the human fleets knew the galaxy had changed forever. The Varkesh Dominion was defeated, but the galaxy was still watching. Every empire, every independent world, every hidden colony knew what happened. The humans had entered the galactic stage seeking peace. They had been betrayed, and yet, in response, they had unleashed a power the galaxy had never seen. Admiral Cassandra Vale stood on the bridge of Sentinel's Dawn, overlooking the remnants of the Dominion fleet. "Message their leaders," she ordered. The officer at communications tapped rapidly. "Surrender confirmed. They are ready to comply." Vale nodded. Her expression was calm, almost gentle. "Prepare the peace offer." The human fleets had destroyed the Dominion's military capability. Every ship of war had either been captured or neutralized. Every command hub disabled. Yet humanity had spared civilian populations. It was a calculated choice. For centuries, aliens had thought strength meant destruction, power meant annihilation. Humanity had shown them a different way. Strength meant restraint, strategy, and justice. Across the galaxy, every empire received the same message. Humanity prefers peace. Betrayal has consequences. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. The message spread quickly, faster than any fleet or weapon could move. Within days, the galaxy's perception of humans had changed forever. Even allies of the Dominion looked at the humans with new respect and fear. Back on Aurora Prime, the council chamber had been emptied for weeks. News drones broadcasted footage of human fleets in Dominion space. The alien empires watched, silent and shocked. "This is unlike anything we expected," one ambassador admitted. "The humans," another said slowly, "they don't just fight. They plan. They calculate. They show mercy, and yet they cannot be defeated." The Varkesh Supreme Commander sat alone in his throne room, surrounded by holograms of destroyed fleets and shattered stations. His empire had survived, but it had been broken. Humiliation hung heavy over him. He tapped a clawed finger against the arm of his throne. We underestimated them. We shot a human in the back. That single action had changed everything. Across human space, Admiral Vale addressed the fleet. Every officer, every captain, every soldier listened. The galaxy believed we were weak, she said. They thought peace could be used against us. They thought killing one man would end our dream. They were wrong. She paused, looking out at the stars beyond the window. Blue light reflected off the hull of Sentinel's Dawn. Humanity does not seek war. We do not destroy without cause. But if anyone betrays our trust, they will face consequences they cannot survive. There was silence in the room. Then a single officer spoke. Admiral, will the galaxy ever trust us again? Vale shook her head slowly. They may never fully trust us. And that is fine. Trust must be earned. But respect will be theirs. And fear will guide them if they choose betrayal again. Meanwhile, humans began helping the Dominion rebuild. Not as conquerors, but as mentors. They repaired civilian stations, rebuilt damaged cities, and provided medical aid to wounded soldiers. The Dominion leaders could barely believe it. They spared us, a general whispered. After everything, Vale's voice came through the communicator, calm but firm. Peace is stronger than revenge. But betrayal will never go unpunished. Remember this lesson well. Humanity's patience is not infinite. Across the galaxy, other empires took note. Systems that had once ignored human diplomacy now sought it. Trade agreements were signed. Small alliances formed. The humans were careful not to appear threatening, yet their reputation had grown exponentially. Historians would later write about this moment as the turning point of the galaxy. For centuries, the galaxy had thought that alien empires were the most advanced, strongest, and most strategic, yet humanity had arrived and rewritten the rules. Humans had shown that courage, intelligence, and careful planning could defeat brute strength. That mercy could coexist with power. That patience could be more dangerous than aggression. The Varkesh Dominion, once feared, became the first to publicly acknowledge it. A single message was sent across the galaxy. Never shoot a human in the back. Humanity does not forget. The word spread quickly. Soon, every species had learned the same lesson. The galaxy would never again make the same mistake. And somewhere far away, in a small research station on a quiet human planet, Commander Ward's memory was honored. He had died believing in peace. He had risked his life for the dream of a united galaxy. And through his final act, humanity had shown the galaxy something extraordinary. Peace could be achieved, but betrayal carried consequences beyond imagination. Admiral Vale returned to the bridge of Sentinel's Dawn one final time. Prepare the fleets for return, she said. We have made our point. Now we ensure stability. Humanity will not rule the galaxy, but the galaxy will never forget us. As human ships slowly departed Dominion space, the galaxy held its breath. Systems were silent. Empires were quiet. All watched, realizing that a new force had emerged. Humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were patient. They were clever. They were strong. And they would always remember a single truth. Do not betray a human. In the centuries to come, legends would be told of the day the galaxy shot a human in the back. The stories would warn every empire. Humans could offer peace, but if crossed, they would become the most dangerous force anyone had ever faced. And for the first time in 200 years, the galaxy felt something it had not felt in centuries. Hope, because humanity had shown that even in a violent, chaotic galaxy, one species could rise above the rest. Not through fear, not through domination, but through patience, intelligence, and the courage to act when the time was right. The stars were quiet once more. But everyone knew the galaxy had changed forever, and humans had just begun to teach the lessons it would never forget.